Hello, Facebook family. I just wanted to make my next video and come across this video of Candace Owens, who is a rather popular right-wing figure right now online and has actually testified in front of Congress for whatever reason. She's primarily a right-wing grifter, but she has this lawsuit going against the Facebook fact-checkers or something like that. She made this video, and I figured I would watch it with you and see what she has to say. So let's dig into it.
Delete me. Big Tech is trying to delete us, our movement. We must stop them.
Big Tech's trying to stop a movement?
You are smart. Long ago, you stopped believing in the corrupt corporate media. You canceled the newspapers and cable shows and began reading your news from social platforms.
Okay, wait a second. She's saying you're smart. And that's a way of trying to get her viewers endeared to her, is to say, you're watching me, so obviously you're really intelligent, which doesn't necessarily make you intelligent. I could say, you're watching me, so you're really intelligent. It could just mean you're related to me. But people stopped buying newspapers, stopped listening to cable news, and started getting their news online. That's not exactly a good part of our history, a good part of what we've been moving to. I love the internet. I love all the information available on the internet. And if you know where to look and how to look, and you are an objective, good faith person, you can go online and find plenty of really good, solid, true information. If you're someone who is very far right wing or someone who's very far left wing, you can go online and find people who will tell you what you want to hear. And that's, unfortunately, that's where Candace Owens is in all this. She's one of those people who grifts off of telling people what they want to hear. But canceling the newspapers and stuff is not that good. I understand why some of it was done. I mean, news in America used to not be a money-making thing. It was like, I think Bill Maher had referred to it before, as a loss leader for like ABC, NBC, CBS. It was a loss leader. They lost money on it, but it was news. People needed to know what was going on in the country, around the world, so they provided news. And now news is owned by corporations, and corporations want to make money. So that's why the news has kind of gone down in quality over years, is because it's a money-making thing. It's all about making money. It has nothing to do with shutting Candace Owens up. As you can see, she's able to speak quite freely.
Dominant on those platforms were conservative voices, like mine. We are the Americans who did not have a voice in traditional media.
No, really? You didn't have right-wing people that were going on news shows all the time, that were getting articles in newspapers? You didn't have right-wing people that were prominent and listened to all over America? That's not how we have so many people who are on the right or people who are on the left. Both sides have prominent people who are speaking up for them.
Honestly, do you think the left wants me to have a platform to speak? But I can have a voice. Here, on my own social platforms.
As she shows her cell phone, and some creative hacker has already hacked into it and got all of her information now. Do the people on the left want her to be able to speak? Sure, yeah, I'm on the left, and I definitely am fine with her speaking. You know, my issue is with when she says things that are stupid or objectively untrue. Unfortunately, there are some people who will believe it.
I can be heard. That freedom infuriates the left, who used to own complete control over our information. So they hatched a plan to silence me and all of us conservatives. And Facebook is paying them for it. Here is how it works.
I'm on the left. Facebook and these left-wing, these so-called left-wing media companies are not paying me any money, so I don't know where you're getting that. They're paying for it.
In 2016, hysterical liberals had to find someone to blame for their humiliating loss to Donald Trump. In their minds, they could not possibly have lost due to their own horrendous candidates or policies.
Okay, hold on a second. One of the candidates there is Bernie Sanders, and he didn't run for president against Donald Trump in 2016. So you can't say that Donald Trump would have still won if Bernie Sanders was in the race. I mean, Bernie Sanders had a very large following, and all of the true blue Democrats that voted for Hillary Clinton still would have voted Democrat if Bernie Sanders was on the ticket. So most likely he would have got more votes. Whether he would have carried the Rust Belt states that ended up costing Hillary Clinton the election is another story. And it is very objectively true that Hillary Clinton refused to accept her own role in her own defeat and her own epic failure at winning that election. And definitely the Democrat Party has not been giving us particularly great choices. Granted, the Republican Party gave us Trump as a choice.
Or their own failing message, so they attacked the one thing that they did not have total control over: social media companies. They applied extreme pressure to silence or censor fake news, which was just...
Fake news? That's a Donald Trumpism. That's not a left-wing-ism. That's Donald Trump. Fake news got put into the American vernacular because of Donald Trump. Why are you saying this fake news? There's no left people who are concerned with fake news. What they're concerned with are just lies that are getting spread on social media that people believe because they don't know the difference because they stopped getting news from real news sources.
It's a fancy way of saying news that they don't like. Facebook bent to that pressure and created a fact-checker network with godlike powers over all of us.
Godlike powers? They create people? They're not godlike powers. What they are is fact-checkers, so when you write something that is objectively untrue and they can post links to the veracity of how untrue it is, that's what happens. That's the whole goal of fact-checking. And there's probably YouTube channels that exist just to fact check what someone like Candace Owens says, what someone in the news media says, what anybody says. Fact checking is not having godlike powers. Just because you're intelligent and well read doesn't mean you're a god.
Here is how Facebook fact checking works. A website you have never heard of, run by partisan beta leftists.
A website you never heard of, run by partisan beta leftists. Let me just throw a little dig in there and say that if you're on the left, you're a beta. There's no way you can be an alpha male and be on the left.
Stalk the pages of your favorite conservative personalities. Whenever we say anything they disagree with, these fact checkers write a vicious part.
Wait, did she say people you've never heard of? She just put up a thing of PolitiFact. Who hasn't heard of PolitiFact? That's not that uncommon. PolitiFact is a pretty popular website, and that's not some left-wing beta you've never heard of. I don't know if they're betas or alphas, but perhaps that's a left-wing beta you have heard of. But no, she's just whining about being fact-checked. That's just so stupid. I mean, if you put up something that's incorrect and somebody fact-checks you and you read what they put up to fact-check you, and you're like, oh yeah, what I said was incorrect. Move on.
Hit piece. Then they harass us and our audience by slapping hazardous warning labels on what we have posted. Many times, those labels say missing context or disputed. Yes, thanks, Facebook. Every political argument in America is disputed. Every argument is indeed missing some context.
Well, you can say that, someone made this argument about slavery, but they didn't include the whole history of slavery throughout the world from the beginning of time, so it's missing some context. The whole point is, if you're taking something out of context to change the meaning, there's a big difference between all of the context encompassing an issue from the beginning of time till now has to be included, or it's missing context is not the point. The point is, what is it you're saying and what context did you leave out? Are you trying to mislead people by reframing, by removing context, by, miscontextualizing something?
But the insanity continues. These hack checkers, as I like to call them, would be just an annoyance, but Facebook gives them the ability to destroy the reach of our content, so we cannot communicate with you. They demonetize our pages so we can't make a living.
What? Can't make a living? Look at the production value of your video. I'm running this clown show on a middle class income from where I live and where I sleep. This, you're not missing any money. That's the thing. Someone like Candace Owens isn't counting on views to scratch out a living. Someone like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro and Dave Rubin are getting donations, massive donations, from extremely wealthy right-wing billionaires to push forward the right-wing message. They're not counting on their channel keeping them alive. They're counting on the right-wing donors who want their content out there.
Producing content for our audiences. And here is the breathtaking part. Most of these fact checks are pure partisan bile. They are false, fake, untrue. But there is no recourse for your favorite conservative creators.
What, is she saying they're fake because she disagrees with what they believe?
We are held at gunpoint by these partisan hacks, and Facebook is giving them the gun. This is why I am suing the Facebook fact check.
Why are guns always involved in right-wing arguments? I really doubt Mark Zuckerberg's ever pulled a gun on anybody. But no, they're not holding you at gunpoint by fact-checking what you say. If what you say is objectively untrue and someone posts an article to give the full context to thereby obliterate your argument, you may be upset if you're trying to spin a right-wing argument like someone like Candace Owens or Dave Rubin. But for the average person, they might say, oh, I was wrong. Thanks for giving me that article. I didn't find it on my own.
I'm suing them on behalf of you, your favorite creators and news sites, on behalf of our freedom of speech. And
no, she's not suing them on behalf of you. She's suing them on behalf of her and trying to increase her name recognition, her brand, and trying to become a more prominent person on the right. She's not got her own Fox News show yet.
Thought. So who are these hack checkers? Well, I'm suing a site called Lead Stories. Lead Stories is run by a former CNN employee of 26 years who makes a living cannibalizing and slandering conservative content and
cannibalizing and slandering conservative content. Most likely he has some kind of algorithm that searches through content to find incorrect content, I would assume. I assume he's not sitting there reading everything that everybody on the right posts on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and wherever else. Breitbart, Fox News's online outlet. He's not sitting there spending 24 hours a day just reading right-wing content going crazy. He's probably got some kind of algorithm that brings up false, misleading, or potentially false and misleading content and has people that peels through it and finds out whether it is.
Creators. His website has published disputed fake news stories, including one that went after my content personally. And so I'm going after him personally. Here is an important question. Who funds Lead Stories? According to their own masthead, Lead Stories is funded by Facebook and Google, along with BitDance. And what is BitDance? It's a Beijing-based company that owns the TikTok spyware app. Our own Justice Department says the company is a national security threat and compromised by the Communist Party of China. Facebook, then, is paying for fact-checkers funded by an arm of the Communist Party of...
Wait a second. So the company that owns TikTok pays for this company's services Therefore, the company makes money from that deal. So, therefore, the company's funded by China, by what she say, the Communist China Party. The company is not necessarily funded by China just because a Chinese company pays for their services. That would be insane, because just about every corporation in America makes some money, some way, somewhere off China, whether it's labor in manufacturing or whatever. That would be to say every company in America is funded by the Chinese Communist Party. That's absurd. That's hence why you have fact checkers to correct the incorrect framing like
China to censor my content here in America. The Communist Party of China has more say over my content than the First Amendment. This is insanity. It's un-American. It's dangerous.
No, they don't have more say. You're right here doing a whole video where you're saying what you want to say. The Chinese don't have any say over what you're doing in that video. That's absurd.
And it needs to stop. This is why I am fighting. Our freedoms are at stake. Our movement is at stake. We know these battles are taking place all over the world. Do you wish to support me in my efforts against these hack checkers? Well, the easiest thing you can do right now is share this video.
Don't share this
If you
video.
wish to donate in support, you can head to www.factcheckzuck.com. We will fight, and we will win.
Interesting. Not really. So she's another right-wing person that's whining because her content gets fact-checked. Unfortunate for her. Maybe if you just are honest, your content won't get fact-checked. I've posted plenty of things on Facebook. None of it's ever been fact-checked. Because I don't bother posting conspiracy theories. You know, there are plenty of conspiracy theories that I would be all ears to hear a good story on. I mean, the JFK assassination, 9/11, the whole Titanic, and what was the other sister ship, Olympia or whatever it was, where they're saying that the Titanic didn't actually sink, it was another ship. They switched them in dry dock. Interesting. Those are interesting stories because there's some truth there. There's some stuff that, you know, makes it feel real. The right wing just goes crazy with conspiracies to where the right wing now is almost nothing but a crazy conspiracy farm. They're not even good conspiracies. They're not even good conspiracy theories. They won't capture your attention. You're just like, that's dumb. And now Candace Owens is whining because she's getting fact-checked too when she posts false things. If you post false things, you should expect someone to fact-check you. Just the way it is. And as far as Candace Owens, like I said, she's a right-wing grifter. You know, she was this left-wing person. You know, the left-wing kind of got mad at her. She made like a anti-bullying website that people pointed out that bullies could kind of use your website to bully people. And she got really mad that she wasn't going to be able to get rich off this brilliant idea she thought she had with this website. And she decided, I'm just going to be Republican and support Trump. I used to be left-wing and hate Trump, but now I'm a right-wing person and I love Trump. And she's going for the money, and she's making a lot of it. The right-wing is paying her a lot of money to be a black woman pushing the right-wing narrative. I mean, she's a black woman trying to claim that there is no racism in America when she, as like, I believe a high school kid, was harassed racially. Her family sued and won like $30,000 or $40,000. It was like the mayor's son was one of the people harassing her in high school. And it was horrible. It's unfortunate she got harassed like that. And it was racist, but she's experienced the racism. And now she's trying to say it doesn't exist because that's her grift. That's how she's making money. Anyway, that was the video for today. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, and have a good day.